Service and Intergovernmental Relations Committee. You have, 1, 2, 3 environmental service issues. David, is there anything there? You got 5 Mile Creek, you got Amendment 1 to the UV replacement. I don't, you know, when you do that much as far as, I'm trying to think what it is, RPL, you do number 2 for me. That's,
Number 2, can you explain number 2, as I said?
yeah,
Yeah, so we're doing, just a change order.
just tell me what, just read that first sentence from me.
To add funds for the construction management services for the, ongoing construction work. So what we're doing is we're, UV replacement is the ultraviolet disinfection.
UV replacement miscellaneous improvements at Turkey.
Yeah.
There we go, I got
We only
it.
got so many characters there, yeah, that's, but yeah, we had to do some design changes for some low flow conditions out there, so that's why we're doing that $50,000 change order with the design.
On the 10 million is for the headworks.
Yeah, it's replacing screens and conveyors, they're 25 years old, out to 5 Mile Land, so it's just regular replacement as stuff wears out.
Some high price screens.
Screens, conveyors, pumps, it's, yeah.
That's to get all the initial crap out of the water. Not, I mean, just junk, like the couches and
We don't want to be pumping it around the whole place, so we try to get it out in front.
I move 1, 2, 3.
All right,
Second.
all in favor say aye. Aye.
Up to you whether you want to talk about the, when to add or catch them all together.
We'll wait and do that all at one time on the county manager. We have district run other thing for the, 4th Avenue Jazz Festival. And I believe that Commissioner Tyson's gonna have one too that I'll get in her deal. So, anyone have a motion?
I move.
And I second, I would note it's two, it looks like it's supposed to be 2,500 instead of 25,000 or whatever it is.
Yeah,
Yeah, there's a 0.
you got an extra 0 in there. All right, all in favor say aye.
Okay.
Community Development and Health Services Committee, Group Cooper Green. Department of Community Services has 4 items. Any of those we need to look at?
1 through 4.
Second.
All in favor say aye.
Aye.
District Attorney, it looks like we have some salary adjustments and agreements on for 1 and 2.
I think that's new hires, isn't it? Yes. I move 1.
Your agreement, yeah, you go. Moves 1 and 2, second.
Second.
All in favor say aye.
Aye.
DC and Associates will assist residents of Jefferson County youth determine the mental health coaching.
This is going to be some training that they're going to do for both the staff as well as the residents at youth detention.
Okay. Got a motion?
So moved.
All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Administrative and Infrastructure Committee is meet roads and trans. Are there any items here that you need, looks like they're doing a lot of, looks like 23 different items, so you may want to check on
Commissioner, before we get too far, I would like to pull item 20 off, please, and I'll let the minute clerk.
number 20. That's the one that we talked about.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Get a little more information about that.
Yes, sir.
I have a question about the RPCGB, the connectivity study. What is that?
Item 4 is, that's an Apple study grant with Regional Planning Commission, the MPO, and it's a joint venture with us and Shelby County, where we are studying the connectivity of the southern portion of Jefferson County and so really the northeastern portion to better connect the 2 counties together. We putting in 10%, Shelby County be putting in 10%. With the ability to get to around $1 million worth of the study. Right now, what you see is the first phase. That's us putting in 27,000, Shelby County putting in 27,000.
It's a multi-jurisdictional traffic model.
said the northeast sector, did I hear something about the northeast sector? I didn't see that.
Yeah, so there's two phases of the traffic model, the way that the RFP was done. One of them basically runs the entire border from north to south on the eastern side, and then the other is on the southern side. So it would include, alternate approaches to congestion on Grants Mill, how to hook up Rex Lake, some of those things that are, when you look at those major roads that are carrying the traffic, how do we get connectivity across them? Because most of what carries that is more local, low volume roads that have congestion. So we're looking at all of those things. And that's why the model.
Signal timing and all that on our red lights.
So that's what the RTOP is all about. The RTOP is a specific program that we are coordinating, or we're allowed to take advantage of ALDOT's program. So by doing that, we can fit the timing for our traffic signals and the models for our roadways to optimize signals along corridors and to change timing plans, but that's required both a change in some hardware so that we can get to the equipment that you can talk to remotely, and then also just updating the models and the timing plans. So that all fits together.
And item 7, is that part of that, or is that separate where you're building an interchange from Grantsville to Highway 19? And this says, this is a design solution?
So that project, Chris is intending to chase that as an A-trip project, but this is the
Separate.
design, design
It's a
phase
separate
of that.
item. It's a design, so that's Barnes Design Solutions, that's just the name of the company. But it's a design contract to look at the intersection at Grantsville Road and 119, with the intention to use ALDOT ATRIP funding to fund the construction.
It would seem very simple. You got that obtuse, acute angle coming one way and.
It's pretty bad. It needs-
When you got in that neighborhood saddle,
I mean, I could design it for less than. For this way,
And I can drive you where you need to go.
yeah.
All right, any other questions? Are we good with the 1 through 20 though?
Now, is 20 pulled or is it carried over?
Well, 20 is.
Where's the one that we're moving?
20 is full.
All right, so I'll move 1 through 23 minus 20.
All in favor say aye. Just claim from the county attorney, the minutes from our 25th of July meeting.
I move 1 through 5.
All in favor say aye. County manager, we have an ARPA and district attorney divisions community anti-violence program amendment, which is our second amendment to this, and the award is $600,000
This is just moving the time period to November 2024.
till November of 2024. All right, that sounds good. Money still remains static.
I move.
Motion to second, all in favor say aye. Turn it over to county manager, he has 5 items of new business.
All right, so, Mr. Dinner, do you want to?
Well,
Do you want to do
Well,
yours first? I know yours.
Yeah, we'll go ahead and do my community grant for the city of Westford. It's an extension of the cameras that they're running throughout the city.
I mean,
That's vote second, all in favor say aye. I'd like to consider 5 items of new business that going through the county manager's department. They're all county sensitive.
motion for unanimous consent to consider 5 items to the agenda.
Second. All 3 say aye. Any opposed? Carried unanimous. Now go.
All right. We have one item coming from David Dinner. That's on the top of your packet. Attached map. That's for 2024 service lateral inspections.
project. It's one we do fairly routinely for $1,085,000. And Duke's Roof Control is low bidder.
The attached, low bids or
Yes.
attached?
Yeah, we have 4 bidders.
Man, Southeast Pike is proud of their price.
I don't know that they've won a contract yet.
All right.
All right, what does this do?
So we're going out and doing TV inspection in the sewer lines and looking at the service laterals so that when we go back and do our rehab of that, we know where the laterals are ahead of time. Makes our rehab contracts cheaper and quicker to do.
So we don't know that now, where our laterals are.
We know where a lot of them are, but when you're doing the rehab, you gotta get it like down to the foot. So it's gotta be pretty close.
I move the item.
So, fair say aye. Number 2.
Number 2, Heather, you wanna hit those next in your packet?
The, 2 from general,
Well, next in my packet is from Commissioner Tyson.
I'm sorry.
And
Yes,
I'll
that-
do that. She is mimicking what Commissioner Scales did as a grant. It's been through the system. $2,500, not 25,000, but 2,500 to the urban impact.
So moved. All in favor say aye. Well, I can't move, hold on. Joe?
All right, I move.
Aye.
Well, second.
Aye. All in favor say aye. Now we're good. Number 3.
The next 2, Heather, you want to go?
There are 2 items from General Services. One is the contract with Birmingham Waterworks to provide for the fire service line for the new coroner's building. And the other is a resolution terminating the contract with Johnson Controls.
I move both of those items.
All in favor say aye. Aye.
And the 5th item, Chris, Heather's good news item. You want to explain that?
Oh, yes, sir. So that is an increase of outbound funding for McAshan. So they've increased their interstate maintenance funds due to this fiscal year ending. They're able to identify additional funds to go towards the McAshan project. The reason it's new business is because of the time crunch of the fiscal year ending. So that increases their funding from $2 million to $6 million, and what you see is our match to that.
A second.
All in favor say aye.
Mr. Morris,
Sorry.
did you have anything?
Yes, there's a conditional use permit request that we had some glitches in our system to get it through, but we advertised for the public hearing on that. This conditional use permit is for a cell tower, and I'll go over that case when we get to our items. But it inadvertently didn't make it on the pre-commissioned agenda, but we fixed it and everything should be good for Thursday. Again, this is one that we had to advertise for because it is a new tower. But it's not controversial at all, I'll go over that in just a minute.
Is that an item of new business?
Yeah, we'll need to do it as new business because it didn't get through the system in time to get on the agenda for pre-commission.
Okay, I move for consideration of the 14th new business item on the agenda.
Just a second.
All in favor say aye.
Aye. Move the item. Are we presented it yet?
All right.
Is it cell tower or something?
Cell tower, something.
Okay, I move.
All right, are there any other items coming through the county manager's office that we need to consider for today?
No, sir.
All right, that concludes.
All right, finance. Ms. Dixon.
Good morning, Commissioners. We have, item number 1 is a renewal of our single audit contract with Warren Averett and the CDBG. The fees on these are the same as the last 3-year contract, and do we have any questions related to that item?
Do you have a motion?
So moved.
Have a motion second, all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Item 2 through 8 are our normal items, the unusual demand report, the purchasing agenda report, encumbrance report, and purchasing exception report.
I'll move that.
Motion. Second. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
We also have our budget office items, we do have one, pending change we need to make, for Commission District Two for Michael Miller. That number should be $1,552.46.
Where's that at?
Should be on page.
10.
Yeah. Page 10. It's now listed at $675.50, so there was a change made and it didn't get updated on the agenda, so we just need to do planning.
What's it changed to?
$1,552.46.
All right, let me ask a question real quick. What is MRI Angus Training General Services? Tricia, you on?
Angus is
Good morning,
the-
Commissioner, I'm here. So MRI Angus Training is the software system that we utilize for the work orders for general services. So they have an annual conference that they attend to look at any type of additional services or modules that we could purchase.
All right, thank you. Then you have, we'll be true.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah. All right, do I have a motion on,
So moved.
have a motion?
Second?
All in favor, please say aye. All right, Board of Registrars, we have a precinct location change, 2120 Dunbar Abrams to Macedonia Baptist Church. Barry has contacted me and said this is just a better location for that holy place. And I think that's in Commissioner Tyson's district, is that right?
Yes, sir.
Y'all agree with that?
Yeah, the school, all the school buildings falling down, they want to move it for safety reasons.
Okay. Good deal. All right, do I have a motion?
So moved.
Second. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All right. Circuit clerk, we have two absentee manager, payouts. I'll move it. Second. Have a motion in a second. All in favor? Aye. All right, developmental services. Mr. Morrison.
Yes, sir. Good morning, Commissioners. This is not on the agenda for pre-commission, but this case was carried over. Again, I just want to put this back in focus that this case is carried over at 240009. This is out on Eastern Valley Road. This one will be on the agenda this coming Thursday. I do know that the developer has gotten with the adjacent homeowners association for the adjacent subdivisions. It's part of why the reason why they carried it over. I don't know that they've made a lot of headway in any sort of agreement or anything, but I'll leave that to him to present to you guys Thursday, should you wish to entertain it. It's not a public, we already had the public hearing on it, but we did send out notice that you guys would be deciding on it as well.
I'm just trying to remember which one that was.
This one was down on Eastern Valley Road, just south of the McNorrie School campus.
This wasn't Goats.
No, 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 that one's gone.
All right. So noted.
All right, as far as new items that'll be on your agenda for Thursday, case number 32, this is out of Crumley Chapel Run down in the Adamsville, area. This particular property has R4 zoning, which is apartment zoning that dates back to the 1970s. Now, I don't know that there's ever any apartment development on the property itself, but it just retains its old zoning. The property's coming to new ownership, and the folks have gone up there and put in a chicken coop. They don't live here, but they put in a chicken coop and some apparatus for them to like sit under. It's an older couple that goes out there and tends to the chickens pretty much daily. This did come to our office as a complaint, as the chicken have migrated off the property back and forth and trespassed, if you will.
Did we sign it?
We did. And what happened was we cited them, and then of course anybody who gets cited, your options are to appeal to the Board of Zoning Adjustment or to the Planning and Zoning Commission for rezoning.
I mean, did we say the chickens?
Did we cite the chickens themselves?
Did we?
You know, I leave trespassing up to the sheriff.
All right.
So, anyway, the property itself is sort of out in a rural area. The property directly across the street is owned agricultural. It's kind of surrounded by Adamsville in this particular node where this is, kind of off of Minor Parkway. Citing, you know, the planning commission was split in their vote on this property, as some of the planning commissioners thought that this was a decent use for the property if we could just contain the chicken. And then some other planning commissioners, I think, were in a sense because we did have some opposition who expressed their issues with the trespassing of the chicken. So, Planning and Zoning Commission did recommend a denial. The vote was 6-5 with 1 abstention. We did vote several times on this, so we kind of went back and forth, and there were several tie votes. If you guys are inclined to approve it, the recommended conditions of staff was that the chicken being kept in an enclosed area to avoid roaming the community and trespassing, that they obtain all work permits for any work that's going on the property, and that there be no keeping of chickens for commercial purposes. They're all just personal chickens.
How many chickens are there?
They started off with, I think it was in the 30s, now they're down to the teens, I believe. There's been some attrition of the chicken as they trespassed in wildlife and, you know, Popeyes. I don't know.
But this person that's asking for the zoning change
Yes.
doesn't live there.
Does not live there. Now, they have expressed some desire to perhaps put a mobile home on the property in the future, which again would require agricultural zoning anyway.
And this is off of Minor Parkway?
Off Minor Parkway on Cromwell Chapel Road.
Michael Demakie, there was some other
How
items that
close
get-
is the nearest neighbor?
Yeah, it came out in the hearing that the lady who spoke in opposition was saying that we've kept chickens around there for all this time, and but the area is zoned residential, which I informed them at that point that that's technically a zoning violation. So yeah, it's kind of sticky.
Will the applicant be there
Yes.
first?
Yes, they'll be good.
How close is the nearest neighbor?
You got adjacent lots, but they're all like the larger sort of, again, rural setting residential lots.
Rural,
But despite the fact that they are zoned R2 residential, going to the north. Again, you got agricultural, you'll see that directed to the southeast, and then further east on the other side where that community though has further more Pratt Highway.
The property is 2 acres, and the chickens are located in the center of the property, so that should give them an idea of
Right.
location
So where do the coyotes go for dinner?
there.
Like, if we started closing the chicken, I
Hey,
don't know.
honey, tonight we're having chicken, come on. That seems strange, but okay.
Yes, sir.
I
Any
move it.
additional
I
questions,
move it.
comments, anecdotes?
I move it. Look forward to
That's
discussing it Thursday.
All in favor, aye. All right. Sealy, Z240033.
Before you go, is that mine or, is that my district?
I don't
I
think
think
so.
I lost that then.
I believe so. I think that's correct. I'll double check that on this.
Okay.
Are there any roosters on that?
They did say something about having those yes.
So there, it's not fried chicken, it's eggs.
Or chickens?
Yeah,
Either fried chicken or eggs. If you have rooster, it's eggs.
right. This is just their personal thing that they like doing.
I look forward to discussion.
Should be fun. All right, next item, case number 33. This one's fairly cut and dry. This is out on Highway 31, just north of Gardenville. In fact, it's kind of surrounded by Gardenville, as you can see from the zoning map. It's currently zoned A1 agriculture. There is a desire for this gentleman to, he wants to rezone it so that he can construct an office and with some outside storage for a contractor's operation. There is some, other commercial and sort of light industrial uses around here, right in this particular section of Highway 31. With that being said, the Planning and Zoning Commission did recommend approval of this, just with some conditions that the use of the property be limited to that contractor's yard with outside storage and any other use that would otherwise be allowed in C1 zoning. And then also that the existing dry stream bed, which presently serves to collect the stormwater that's on the septic site, be protected with a 25-foot buffer on both sides of the center line of the stream bed. And I'll go back, because that is actually located here on the rear of the property. And he doesn't even plan to touch or get that close to the residents back there or anything else. So he was amicable to that.
I have a question. It says the site address is 6874 And 3878 highway, should that be 6878?
Yes, sir, that's correct.
Okay.
I apologize, I didn't even notice that.
Do I have a motion?
So moved.
A motion?
So.
All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
240035.
This is located out in the Trustful area. It's a large property that has A1 zoning. They're requesting to go to institutional one for construction of a church. Similar to the last case, there is a blue line or a hydrological feature that's on the property. We did have some questions from some members of the community who came and asked some questions about drainage. We looked at the map. Where they were located was actually going to be in the opposite direction of where the water is going to be routed as part of this development. They live south to it, and the water is a little bit diverted towards the north. As you can see, with that stormwater detention area that's on the northern end of the on the site plan, on the northern end of the property.
Will it go under the parking lot?
The blue line itself, again, that's part of the conditions that planning and zoning commission recommended, that the northwest quadrant be protected with that 25-foot buffer, or otherwise, they have some approved civil engineering devices that come through and would be sufficient to handle that water that's on the property. And then also the steep slopes adjacent to Pineview Road be stabilized with existing or proposed vegetation, because it does have some steep slopes right there on that eastern side.
But the reason I brought that up is because right now I've got a complaint from a church, a district, and there's evidently a drainage like under their parking lot, and now they're thinking we should fix it. So,
We'll have the engineer answer those questions for you Thursday. I'll make them aware.
okay. All right. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
All in favor? Thank you. All right. B 240004.
This is just a simple transfer request for sale of off-premise beer and wine. This is for the Mount Olive Chevron, it's right there on Mount Olive Road. It was formerly the Ice House. The last time that there was a beverage license approved for this property was back in the 1990s, and this has been kept in perpetuity ever since. So they have an established history of these types of sales to this property. There was no mall on the applicant's record or anything else. And again, that's why I just recommended for approval.
Motion.
Second.
All in favor?
All right, and briefly, just to go over this conditional use case. This particular property is located just north of I-22, close to where it connects, or where there's the interchange with Hillcrest Road. The proposed tower height of 255 feet, which calls for a radius of over 750 feet that we have to notify. There were no residences within that notification range. In fact, most of it was either interstate right-of-way property owned by U.S. Steel or the property of the property owner himself, which this is Norris Paving. I don't know if you're all familiar with the corridor along I-22. But as you can see from the coverage map, you'll notice the map on the bottom that shows the heat to the north, to the northwest, and then the heat that's to the southeast, and this gap that's in between. This proposed tower is to bridge that gap just so they can provide continuous service along the I-22 corridor. And again, it's pretty well isolated. The access to it is going to be off of Forestdale Bend Road, but the actual tower site is 1.5 miles from where the access point is. So it's very, very isolated, right there next to the interstate. And again, they satisfy all the requirements that we have for cell towers, and staff recommends approval.
Do I have a motion? A motion?
Second.
All in favor? Aye. Thank you. All right, that'll bring us to general services. Go ahead, Chris.
Okay, so General Services has 5 items on the agenda this morning. We've got Bright Future, that's for the lightning protection system, the reinstallation of that, and domestic relations. Corner Detention Products is the preventive maintenance for the jail for the doors. Contract termination for Summit Equities. Resolution for Stone Building, this is the animal care and control facility. And then the lease extension for the Hoover satellite office.
All right, do I have
I'll move them all.
1 through 5? All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Congratulations on getting that bid.
Thank you.
For the animal control.
Thank you very much.
Thanks, Larry. All right. I have 1, 2, 3, 4 items. I believe we motion. All in favor? Aye. All right. Okay. And for District 5, I will move your appointment agenda.
Well, he has one item.
What?
Information only that he needs.
All right.
Commissioners and all present, I'll do my best to do what you all is typical for me. I just got somebody that I want to bring up here, Mr. Duncan, come up here, please. He doesn't know, he didn't know I was gonna call him up here. He's just a kid, but he's a swell kid. I, starting my second year on the commission this week. I've been very pleased to have worked with two very fine people. I inherited one from Commissioner Ammons, I acquired one, that I've known, and they're great. But everybody here has got really great health-wise, we couldn't do the things and do them as quick as we do. But 2 or 3 months ago, I went to a luncheon, and it was the Youth Leadership Forum Government Day. It was for upcoming high school seniors in Jefferson County. And I had 4 or 5 at my table. Everybody did, every elected official, I think. Commissioner President Stevens was there. And you get to know them all. They're all great kids. But sometimes, you walk out and you just kind of bond with one. And that's why I'm introducing Dawson Duncan. He's a rising senior at Lower Jordan High School. He's interested in politics. He's interested in government. In essence, he's everything about kids that's good when all we hear are things that's bad in the media. And I just wanted to bring him up here and introduce him to you. He's interned with me through the summer. He enjoys tennis. When he's older, he'll learn to play golf, I'm sure. And he is the senior class president at Northern Jordan. He's a great kid. I really find it ironic too that he lives in Jefferson County. He loves politics. And guess whose district he's in? So anyway, forewarned is forearmed, Commissioner.
District 5's always told my people.
Finish it up and, attaining the age, you talk about running for governor or county commission, and decide which
Well, let me ask you a question, man.
Yes, sir.
Who is your favorite commissioner?
Oh, who's my favorite?
Yes.
Well, we're on the spot like that.
You're gonna get to politics, you're gonna be on the hot seat.
It's Jen
Now,
Psaki,
you
so
live in my
we'll
district.
circle back.
He has been watching Jen Psaki too long.
I hope I live long enough to see him either in the governor's mansion or in Washington or both. Anything you want to tell these folks?
Let's hear from you.
Me?
Yeah.
Put me on the spot.
I'm gonna tell you,
Start
that's,
speech.
look, that's what we're for. And he's trying to prepare you, and this is just another stepping stone, so let's hear from you.
Well, he's done an incredible job, and I thank each and every one of y'all for providing these opportunities for me. It really means a lot. Opened a lot of doors and just a great networking opportunity. I really have been blessed through and through. Miss Danielle, she's really opened a lot of doors, and I couldn't thank her enough. So just thank y'all. That's really all I have to say.
Well said.
And I think most of the credit goes to the folks who wasted it.
Understand that, but
If he hadn't turned out to be this good, it would have been shame on him. But this is his last couple of days, so. Thank y'all.
Take you to lunch yet?
So,
Take you to lunch.
yes, sir.
Somebody make it back.
All right, Wayne County.
Oh, yes, sir.
They're about to begin school.
Yes.
Are all of your school staff?
Absolutely, yep,
Your
SROs ready to
resource
go.
officers?
School resource officers ready to go, they just completed 3 weeks of training. The full-timers did 3 weeks training, the part-timers did 1 week of training, they're all set to go, ready for school to start.
I do have a special request.
Sure thing.
With the new hospital opening, there's been increased traffic on Bell Hill Road that's not completed.
All right.
And also down at J&J, where that area is.
Sure.
You're going to have an elementary school and the other, and around the corner, you're gonna have a high school and a middle school and a shopping, right? Okay. So, I have had received calls from constituents who live in that area. Could, during the school hours or when it's opens and closes, and could you put extra help there?
I'll talk to the Bessemer Patrol folks today, let's see what we can do. All right.
That's
So
what
we do. By the way, while I've got everybody's attention, I want to invite everybody to come out. We have Academy graduation is a week from Friday. It's at 11 o'clock in Fultondale at our academy there. You can get a real good look at the dorm that's being built. It's not going to be quite ready for our next academy class, which starts next week. We got a good number of folks starting that academy class next week, much larger than the class that's going to be graduating next Friday. But y'all are all invited a week from Friday to come and see them. And from what I heard earlier about the zoning, I think we're having chicken that day for lunch. But anyway, so, but it'll be at the academy, and the dorm is right next door. You know, you can get a good look at the dorm, which has got a roof on it already and should be ready for our January class, we think.
That'd be great. Thank you very much.
You know, Wayne, if we do have to have those extra officers over there, I would ask that they come from the Bessemer division and not have to pull from.
They definitely would. I mean, the Bessemer Patrol folks would be the ones who would handle it, right?
Just like, you know.
Yeah, Bessemer Patrol and Birmingham Patrol operate somewhat independently of each other. They help each other when they need to, but they have different captains over each one, so I'll talk with the captain from Bessemer about that.
That'd be great. Thank you very much.
No problem.
You got anything?
No, sir.
You good?